it's a very okay. Okay, you have it. So the point which you're making, this is very organized sector. I will not say unorganized, but it's very offline. The way Jamshedpur and Tata Motors are operating, Bhaddi and in Himachal will be operating different. Tata Steel procurement will be different. Maruti will be different. Britannia will be different actually. So buyer has to accustom himself to different procurement norms, and that has been age old. These are the normal things which is happening today. In a nutshell, what I want to say, the problem statement is managing the class C and class B, and that's when and why it is a problem. First, to buy something, we need a mandatory vendor registration in factories, right? Without that, we cannot buy. The data quality of product catalogs is very bad. I mean, suppose there is a wrong word bad, but it's the way the standardization happens in B2C. It is every cataloging, but engineering item is so vast. A solenoid valves can be in 100 types. A bearing, different types of it. Even a Allen screw or Allen bolts are different grades to it. SS, MS, MS. So catalog is very high. So the information from buyer to vendor get lost because sometimes what engineering department give request to purchase department talk to the vendor while negotiating, the information get lost, it ends up getting a wrong item, right? Again, there is a return happens. So there is no cataloging system exists. There are companies who are doing this, but data quality of product catalog, even it's your normal Amazon and Walmart also struggle with this cataloging, but it's 20x bigger problem in engineering because engineering items are very varied and different grades are there, right? uh, there is no way to analyze competitive. There is a manual way of you get the prices. You manually do Excel. There is no way that is single platform to compare it, right? And also there is no real-time visibility of product because items are stored at a vendor place. What is the product visibility? It is available or not? It's in the mercy of the vendor. They will notify then only. So average time to RFQ is 4 to 5 days. Then order placement to again 4 to 5 days, and it's take 10 to 12 days to confirm an order. That's the general practice. Some companies might do faster, some companies do faster. That's in a general practice, right? Vendor also area is a problem because they are restricted by the regions. No centralized place to raise quotation. If you talk to any vendors and suppliers, the 60% time goes in calling a buyer, getting a quotation, calling a transporter, right? And maintaining relationship. And because and making a quotation. Quote management is a big activity with vendor. So these are the bigger problem areas which exist. And if you see this diagram, only 1% of of this is online today in India. I'll show you a comparison. Uh, B2B commerce in US is 18%, UK it is 20%, and China is 25%, right? And India is mere 1%. And this is by BVP Besmer's report, and there are 2 3 reports on this vendors and vendors. So there's a huge gap in the way B2B commerce happens in India versus US and China, right? You can see this number directly. The percentage, right, is 25x, right? And as per reports, this 1% will go to 5% in next 7 to 8 years, as per Besmer's. And so we see a lot of opportunity in this area to get in. People are realizing the importance of e-commerce, right? The way it is happens in B2C, right? But when I say B2B, I'll just again tell this is overall B2B. It called retail also. If you see this, India is a $3.75 trillion economy, and that's 2.5 is B2B, and expected to go at about 4 trillion by 2030, right? Now, this B2B is a very bigger wide set. This includes Kirana also, manufacturing also, contract manufacturing also. This is not our complete. In that, we are very focused on MRO, maintenance, repairs, and operations, right? And this is the space of the factory which are, because in packaging also we will focus in short time. But MRO and packaging will. And these, we are not touching it right now. As we grow, we'll touch this material for contract manufacturing. If you have heard about Zetwork and all, they are going, it's a unicorn, by the way, right? In contract. But our focus is very specific to MRO right now. Which constitute about might be 10 to 20 whether because that is different study altogether of markets, and that I'm not going in detail. I'm just want to show that it's a big market and we are in the MRO side. Right. Any questions, high level, on the problem statement and what we are solving for? Then I'll go to how we are solving.
Sorry, I missed. What did you expand MRO as?
Maintenance, repair, and operations. Maintenance.
Maintenance, repairs, and operation. All right. Okay. Okay.
So these are, sir, thanks for asking these questions. I should have told that again. So when I say in a factory there are spare parts classes, so this relates to this one. I'll just share it once. This class B and class C, right? We are not into procurement, right? We are not into contract manufacturing right now. We are into services, right? So which is maintenance, repair, some consulting also. So we are very much focused into this class B and class C. Okay. Now this is the problem, and I'll tell you now how we are solving this with our technology and the process innovation, right? Now, what we are doing it, now I have said that vendor registration is a problem. Now, say suppose there are 5 factories and there are 100 vendors, right? What we are doing, we as an entity are registering in multiple factories. So we are the selling entity to these factories, and vendors are onboarded on us. So there is a GST norms, and there is a way of processing called drop shipping, which is very well termed in US, where we ask a vendor to bill to an entity and ship to an entity. And this is normally in India called bill to ship to. Conventionally in US, it is called drop ship. So what we do, we onboard vendors with complete catalog on our platform, and a buyer can see that product in our platform and place order directly like Amazon and do the negotiation. And the vendor directly ships to the buyer. So what will happen, since I am the billing entity, buyer registration with me will always be there. At the same time, they are discovering the full cohort of vendors. For example, a vendor in Jamshedpur is there. He is not registered in Ashok Leyland, and I am registered in Ashok Leyland, right? A vendor can well supply to Ashok Leyland, billing to me and shipping to me without being vendor registered. I'll repeat it again, why this is very important, and repeating it again because this is opening up the customer base for vendor without registration. That means the dependency of vendor registration is gone for a vendor. At the same time, a buyer can get a multiple item discovery throughout the country, right? And there is no required for vendor registration. I'll if people know about Gem is similar, but there are also vendor registration. But we are making it through the platform, and platform is doing that, right? Okay. So this is the first dropshipping principle we are doing. How we are doing this technology? So to implement this, we have made 2 UI, which I will show after some time. There is a buyer UI, there is a vendor UI. Vendor is uploading the product in their UI and is completely visible to the platform. Buyer, now buyer can go and search the product. Suppose a solenoid valve is there. If you enter solenoid valve, all vendors will come listed with the prices. Okay. And through the platform, buyer can talk directly to the vendor and negotiate. After negotiation happens, right? System say suppose 100 rupees price, it is negotiated to 80 rupees. System will automatically generate a quotation, right? So, and this quotation will be from one vendor platform to the enterprise. So because we are vendor registered there. So my time to RFQ has gone. The vendor time to raise quotation has gone. At the same time, since I am vendor registered in that factory, my registration requirements are gone. Right. So these are 2, 3 major areas which we have focused and attacked upon with this process as well as the technology. And it happens through the platform. There is no person doing it. So when I show the platform how it works, then we'll correlate more. Right. I'll take a pause here, sir. Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah, Prabjot.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm working in vendor selection problem itself. So, like,
Okay.
how is this one vendor platform different from your vendor selection that we do?
So when you say
Because
vendor
actually, I
selection,
joined late. So,
okay,
like, I'm
sure.
trying to understand what you're trying to say.
Okay, say when you say vendor selection, Prabjot, from which persona you are saying? From a buyer persona or a vendor persona? Which persona? You are a buyer.
See, basically, see, companies do select their vendors. So, see, my vendor selection problem is you have alternatives, okay? Alternatives based on the criteria. So, it is a
Got it.
multi-criteria decision-making problem. So, vendors could be your, again, material, service, and it is an organization that is selecting the vendor.
Got it. I'll answer that. So you are a buyer, right? Now, so there,
Okay.
yes, you are a buyer. So there is a different criteria, and I think I've said that we are not focusing on any item which is direct purchase. Now, in an industry, this criteria is a more rigid on the raw material, right? But not more on Class C and Class B items, which are like ready stock, right? And if not as many companies are doing this, like right, but not through platform. So this vendor portfolio is owned by us, which complete visibility to the end buyer. Say suppose you are a buyer, right? You will be accessing complete catalog of mine submitted by a vendor. Only thing is that, Prabjot, when you place an order, right, it will be the purchase order will always be one vendor platform because we are vendor registered there, right? So this is the difference. The item discovery is solved. At the same time, ordering is also solved. I'll take a pause here. Does that help you, Prabjot?
Yeah, some bit. Actually, main, I'm more of a researcher. So I look
Okay, okay.
for data where I can do the mathematical models and all. So I'm wondering like what research paper can come out of it. So that is
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
in my mind.
No, that definitely I'll show you because we have made this in technology. When I show the platform, it's a data-driven
Okay.
platform. And suppose I'm a head of a company, right? And I'm a purchase head. Now I want complete log what has happened at the ground because managing factories it's a tedious job, right? And it's a multiple through there are hundreds of factories. I know want to have a control to what item is sold at what end, what pricing, the MIS reports. These are very good to things have. The intentions are good, but actually we go on ground. This is very difficult to get it right. The what
Okay.
logs people can echo and because he worked in factories managing procurement at a ground level, small items is very difficult. Procurement, at suppose you want to have 3 year contract of sugar in Britannia, that is sorted. 3 साल का contract हो गया. But आपको factory चलाने के लिए when you do it, you need bearings, underment contracts, you have raw material, painting, services, transformer has gone, transformer maintenance, your compressor maintenance, and this is a overwhelming piece. So we are selling an experience to a factory ki this can be done like an Amazon. I'm just using the word Amazon, but it does not mean Amazon. But I'm
Yeah.
using like an e-commerce way, right? So that it's simplified. That's what B2C also has done in 2012, right? People were hesitant of using e-commerce 2012, but they are using it. It's a part of life right now, right? And that's what we're giving an experience to both buyer as well as vendor. So it's more problem to vendors also. So it is a long process journey we will do because it's a very big change management because we are giving a UI versus a person. Does that help you, Prabjot?
Yeah, yeah, I'm understanding. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, sir. You have a question.
Yeah. So, like in Amazon, when we place order, we are already always placing order on Amazon itself,
Hmm.
rather than placing order on the vendor directly. Internally, Amazon places order on the vendor. So in this platform, one vendor platform, also we have to place order to one vendor platform, or we are going to place order directly to the vendor with whom we have
No,
negotiated
you
for.
will always place order to us. The ordering is always us. So that's why vendor registration is sorted. Whatever item you take from anybody, purchase order will be honored to one vendor platform only, right? So that's the simplicity we're billing. Say suppose there are hundreds of vendor, you do a negotiation, and purchase order will be always. So there is one. That's why this platform name is one vendor platform. We are one vendor to enterprises in all cases.
What happens to the GST accounting, in this case? When I'm placing order on one vendor platform, am I going to record that this is the one vendor platform GST ID? and this
Yes,
is my GST ID, and GST will be handled by one vendor platform. They
yes.
would. Uh, mhm.
No,
Okay.
but thank you for asking this question. This is one of the plus point we are selling also. On present, may suppose 100 or the 100 GST number a buyer has to manage. In our case, only one GST number, which is ours, they to manage.
Yes. So, which means the corresponding tax accounting or GST credit accounting would also be handled through one vendor platform. So, in a way, vendor who's the ultimate supplier uh, becomes opaque to us, right? Which is also not acceptable by most industry. Right. If I'm buying an item which is OEM is Havells, and then I would like to have the guarantee warranty all by Havells, and then in my GST credit, it should be Havells, which should be reflecting that between you, me, and Havells, this is the transaction that happened, and this is how the GST credit I can take care of. But in your case, you're saying it will reflect only one vendor platform. So there is a gap in the technical and techno-commercial compliance in this case.
So I'll answer this. Thanks for asking this question. So
Okay.
I'll break this in two parts. One is GST compliance and the warranty and so yes, we are the reselling entity. So all the tax and liability falls on. Suppose I'll give a name. Suppose company X and I'm a one vendor platform and vendor is Y. X and me will be the seller and reseller relationship, right? And we will raise a GST bill, and they can easily take GST input tax credit. There's no problem in that. Okay. Regarding the opacity you said, it is not opaque. It is transparent because we are showing that which vendor is supplying to you. I am not saying that it is coming from. So transactionally, we are billing it, but we are giving visibility to the buyer key which end supplier is supplying. And I'll give you the parallels. Suppose you buy a Samsung phone in Amazon, right? It is not Samsung selling it to you. It is Cloudtail with multiple resellers. That does not mean you're not getting warranty of Samsung. You do get Samsung warranty or iPhone selling. iPhone are not selling to you. No, neither Samsung. No OEM is selling to you in Amazon, but you do get warranty. Same we are working with. So we are working with OEMs, by the way. We have multiple OEMs we are working with right now. And they are billing to us and shipping to us. So all warranty related, it's through us. We own that assurity key. It will be gained through the OEMs. Regarding GST, it is solved. We have run this full model with our uh, tax POCs also, and companies are working on it. We have. I'll give you the revenue model, but yes, suppose you are a X and Y, so you can get ITC for sure. You can see the vendor directly with transparency, which vendor is sending with vendor rating, seller rating, right? And you can get the warranty as declared by the vendor through our platform. We are solving the commercial part of it through this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll raise one more related question is that understand you are taking care of the techno-commercial part of it where GST compliance you're taking care of. And in the way you are becoming a one vendor platform is becoming a large vendor, you know, you would possibly go above the MSME definition. You would go into from small to medium or medium to large. But if the item is coming from a small vendor, yeah, so if the item is coming from a small vendor, then and if I am a public sector, large public sector organization, I have to comply with government regulations where they say uh, so much of percentage of order must be placed to on small vendor and MSME vendor, and we have to also report compliance on these matter. So that is where we'll have a challenge if I'm only dealing with one VP.
I agree, sir. Very valid point. And I don't think I've solved this because so my segment is say suppose a company is spending 1,000 crores in expense, and class C is 150 to 200. Our focus is 200 crores. In that, and this is one company. So I don't think we as a one vendor taking every chunk of it. Yes, we cannot take full chunk of it, but we can a large part of it. But you're very valid point. If I am yeah, even in GEM, there is a option to honor a startup India vendor first order. I've seen that, right? So
Yes.
those things will be there. But I think this is a very good problem to solve when we become and solve this problem. Very small right now. But yes, I don't have a solution right now. But yes, this might come when we become big. But really happy to go to that far when we become a problem. But you agree your point, sir. This is a fact.
Appreciate. Go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Now this is something which we have told what will happen. Our uniqueness is there is no vendor registration, transparent offers because there's no man doing the negotiation. Directly vendor prices are immediately updated. We have not there is complete procure to pay, dispatch to delivery. The way you see in Amazon item getting picked, dispatch, delivered, those visibility is there in factories. Uh, Digital and faceless negotiation. I'll tell you after some time how it works, right? Uh, Very tailored interface for how a enterprise user, like the way you shop in Amazon, a purchase guy does not purchase like that. There is a SAP, there is a PR process, there is a PO process, purchase requisition happen in Oracle and SB, then has to be vetted. Those processes we have inculcated in our, right? There's something called advanced shipping notification on the deliveries, which we are working on. Annual rate contracts, right? How to assure that if a product is ARC, it cannot be bought through another way or Pokayoke kind of arrangement. We have made that it has to be through ARCs only if the in a central level, right? So those functionalities are very big, which no other e-commerce player are doing in India. So there are multiple B2B commerce aggregator in India, 7, 8, which have launched 2015. Uh, but they're not solving in this way. Anybody can confirm if they see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, sure. So this is the website of it. Our website, there is something buyer login and seller login. And buyer can log in from here. Suppose he logs in from here and it will come like this. So this is a conventional buyer gateway, and we give this to our enterprise customers. Now, the way we shop in Amazon, it's not unlike, so they know what to buy. So suppose I want to buy a bearing, NTN bearing. And this is a normal e-commerce experience I'm giving right now. And when you enter that, the bearing details will come with technical specifications, what all details download, if it is from OEM or not. So this is not an OEM product. If it is an OEM product, it will be clicked here and nobody else can sell that in the platform if it is OEM product, right? Now there's something called product tag in the between bottom row. This one. This product tag, this is very specific to factories because factories buy with material codes, right? SAP has their material codes, like and through the material code they make purchase orders. So what we have given a backward integration, and when in a local in nature, say suppose ITC has a material code for this, in the SAP, they can use this material code in our system and search the product. So this simplifies this one step. This is the linkages between, and this is local in data. Means, say suppose ITC has named X, Britannia has Y, HUL has met Z, but product at the end is same. So this is a local connection, and this and in an SAP or Oracle, it is always bought through material code. So we have removed this step. It's a factory backward initiative we have done it. Now suppose this is the product. Suppose I want to buy this product. Hold on, this is to minimize this. Uh, buy this product. Now I'll go to next. I suppose there are multiple cards to it. So what happens in practice and practically, a purchase manager make multiple cards. He is making services cards. He is making material cards. So right now I want to make a card specifically for this bearing case. So we have named the card and added a quantity. Right. Now finish. So if you can follow, I'm trying to give a simplistic experience to a factory guy where he need not make an Excel, right? He need not copy paste from the SAP, right? Now this is the cart. Now, say for this example, for the sake, we have one item, right? There is something called show vendor here, right? Now, what I will do, I'll click in show vendor, and instantly all the suppliers. So, sir, there was something called opacity. Now, this is for removing the opacity. I'm seeing this vendor is selling in 500 from West Bengal, right? And after some time, there will be lead time here because lead time is something they wanted. This vendor is selling 456 rupees, and there will be a 4 to 5 vendors only. And there's some junk data. It is a test environment. Let me remove it. At end, there will be comparison sheet. So to make this sheet in an industry, it takes 4 to 5 days of time. So a purchase guy will call Ruben and say, hey, what is the price of this?
Yep.
You're speaking
I
on mute,
think
Krishna.
in the chat boxes there are some questions. Yeah.
Now audible?
Categories can be prompted to choose from there on to search an item. Okay. Oh, Krishna has answered that already.
Okay, so
So
category.
we'll
Yes,
open
yes.
the session for all the participant to ask questions directly to the Sushant Dutta. So request all
Looking
the
for.
participants, please, whatever queries you have, you can ask your question
Yeah,
queries.
sir, my question is, yeah, this is a one vendor platform, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so like what categories of vendors are you registering?
So we are registering everything which factory requires. That's the motto. But starting
Okay,
with
factory
a
requirement. Okay.
factory requirements, anything a factory. It starts from office supplies, lab supplies, hygiene items, electrical service. From we are getting vendors to do transformer service also. We are getting vendors to hygiene, housekeeping also. So are very so whatever, because the if you don't make an ecosystem that for this you go to other and for this you go to a no, whatever a factory requires, we will give, right? And so we have vendors. We have partnered with Vendor Solution. It is India's one of the biggest office supply vendor. Safety items, lab items, lab coffee.com. It's a startup in West Bengal. We are introducing them to factories, right? They're lab specialists and food industry, and every company has their labs, right? In raw to check raw material. Be it steel also, they will have quality department, right? So quality, hygiene, food safety. We are not into raw material, ma'am, right? That's we are talking. So we are strategically because
Okay,
raw
all
material,
finished products. All finished products.
all
Class
finished
B and
product,
class C, I think, sir.
yeah, all finished product. Make to order, we are not getting it right now, but will come in like some days in a 6 month or 1 year.
Okay.
I had a follow-up question here, sir. What is class A, class B, and class C items? Because you are focusing on class B and class C items,
So
as I
class
understood.
A, class generally is the raw materials. So raw material for a factory for Britannia, like we sugar, flour. These are the raw materials. Fat, Tata Steel, it will be iron ore. So raw material we are not focusing, which is impacting factory production. Apart from raw material, the direct and all indirect and tail spends we are focusing, because the way procurement are done for raw materials are very different. It is long-term negotiation happen. They negotiate for 2 years, 3 years. So we are not getting into that.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
one more thing, sir. Actually, my concern is for my students. So are you
Hmm.
taking internship for the your this one vendor platform?
Recently, we took 6 interns from BIT Mishra, right? And some interns are in the call as well, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, like what is the background should be?
See, there are multiple things, ma'am. So based on from an engineering grad. So if you see the platform, getting a supply chain vendor management, getting a vendor onboarding, getting the product corrected, creating catalog. So on a high level, there are three categories in our team, right? Cataloging, vendor management, right, which is supply chain and operations, right? So these three categories we are taking students right now because they're more focused, right? We're taking interns. Uh, Yeah, so that's high level. Going in details, I can share you separately the requirements we had.
Yes, sir. I'll be in touch because my area of research is vendor selection problem only. So
Yeah, so
sustainable
then
supplies.
that's completely eco ourselves. Then we should definitely connect.
Yeah,
Vendor
because
management
mine
is
is
a
totally theoretical and you are doing all the practical actually.
we can
So
definitely
many
collaborate,
things
ma'am.
like, yeah, yeah, yes, sir, sure.
So I have a question to you, Sushant, is what are the key challenges that you are facing while building and putting up this platform? The top
Thanks
three
for you asking.
challenges.
Uh, I think there are many challenges. I think you have floated by challenges. First challenge we are facing is so one is demand concentration and supply concentration, right? Now we are focused on demand bigger enterprises, so we have cracked it, right? But getting a supplier training, right, on this activity is becoming because some supplier or vendors are very good, right? When you tell them ki go do this and that, so they agree. But when you explain them, they are though they know benefit them, they are not very much they want to do this activity. For example, the training lag is huge. So my first challenge will be aligning a vendor doing this through the platform. Though they use iPhone 25, but 25 is not this misnomer, but they would not you want to use this, right? It is a lot of change management is there, right? Which we understand, but slowly when they get a business, they start. So first time aligning vendor to use this platform is a challenge, but after they get one or two order, so they are happy. Here, business aage, let me use it. The first buyer acquisition, and these are big buyers. So getting into right guy in a industry is very best because see, when we say that cracking an interview is easier than getting to an interview, but we say that. So reaching a right people in organization is a difficult thing which we understand. Right now, it's my connects. I reach out to my seniors, alumni groups, then I reach to the right positions, and because this project has to be top down, right? Because this is a big change management. Because you know, sir, industry ऐसे काम नहीं करता है, right? मैं कुछ और तरीके से बोल रहा हूँ करने के लिए, right? It has to be top down. So our idea is to reach out to right POCs in this, so that because they can see the benefit at a higher level, right? So these are two big challenges. Aligning by well, once they are seeing it, getting the taste, they are happy to use. Initial runway is थोड़ा सा tough. Supplier concentration is other problem. That's why I've decided to focus to Ahmedabad and Baroda or supplier concentration because uh, giving too much of supplier throughout again is difficult to manage supply chain. So we want to focus on a good supply hubs. One, we are focused on Ahmedabad, Baroda, and Coimbatore. So these are the three problems. First, aligning vendors on doing using this, aligning, reaching out to senior personals in company. Third, creating a supplier base for in a very focused manner. Otherwise, we have lost about few lakhs of orders in last month because we didn't have right supplier base. So we are learning day by day, and cash flow is something different. But there are, if you have fourth point, like because we have a like we get money and give money, right? So sometimes if there is a delay in payment, how do you do the payment to the vendor? Okay. So managing cash flow, but we have some solution to it which we are working out. But yes, this might be a bigger problem if we widen it to a bigger part of consumers, right? That's why we are focusing on a mature set 150 suppliers and 50 to start with because then we'll have a good visibility of the cash flow we have.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
So I
any
just wanted to
yes,
add
yes.
one last word that, as the payment problem occurs not because of the fault of the company, it occurs more because of the process involved.
Yes.
Once I receive a material, I have to raise a pre-GR and pre-goods receipt note, send it to my QC who would inspect the material, approve the material, and only when they approve it, then I raise a final goods receipt note, send it to the vendor, and also send it to my finance department who would, along with the invoices that I have received. right? Or I might even have the process of sending it to the department HOD that now things have come, we have, QC has verified. Now you please approve and send it to the finance for releasing the payment. So because of multiple in-process activities, by the time it reaches the finance department for making the payment, it could be 2 weeks gone, and they may have their own cycle of 2 weeks for making payment. So that is
Can't
where,
agree
I mean,
more.
yeah.
Absolutely. I am aware of it. Can't agree more.
Uh,
So since you
yeah,
brought this, sir, I'll tell you. I'll give. We are doing something which a company. I think it's in pilot. So we are doing something called advanced shipping notification. What we are doing it, there is integration from. So the when purchase order is released, electronically PO will come to us, right? We'll update the PO and we'll upload my invoice, and that get tagged to that PO in SAP. In the factory, when it comes, the gate entry, they will click that PO, my invoice will be pop up, and they will just click GRN. No invoice and payment is released. So this process of ASN, we are trying, right? And this is something which we are making us different. So I think this process is already in e-commerce company like Amazon and US Advanced and raw material. In our segment, it is due, and it is difficult to implement, sir. I'll tell you, it's very difficult. But this
yeah,
will give an extra edge, right? To do you is a bang on your said यही problem है process में, and we are trying to simplify this कि invoice upload ना हो, right? You just click it, backend में invoice है, and goes to the payment and gets payment to the 15 days.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful presentation, and I'm sure it has its own cycle to take it to the right level of success
yeah,
of this
yeah.
platform. And you also have the competitors, so to say, of similar platforms, right? And still there's space for a lot of platforms to come in. It's a huge market,
Yes,
and
yes.
definitely this success helps the country a lot, helps all industry in the country a lot. So wish you all the best.
Thank you. And the biggest validation is that government of India is trying to do the similar things through GEM, right? So GEM is like in a similar lines, but it is also very difficult to do. They have a power of telling industry to use only GEM, but I cannot tell that you only use one BP. That's the different. Yeah,
Yes,
Yes.
yes. We are also seeing that they have pressed a lot GEM in all companies. I think it is mandatory now to go through GEM only. If it is available in GEM, you have to buy through GEM, and if it is not available, then only you can go outside. Yes, sir. So,
cool. Uh,
so
yeah,
I
go ahead.
think, yeah, I think if any more questions are there from the audience, please have it because we'll be closing it.
Please
So if
ask
any,
question. I insist because this model is based. It's made in last 1 year based on validations, feedbacks. We have taken many feedbacks and validations. Still, we are taking. We say that feedbacks are gold mines. Please give feedback. अभी नहीं तो बाद में. I'll share our email ID. Give you blatant feedback. ये अच्छा नहीं काम करता है, वो अच्छा नहीं काम करता है. You just give a blatant feedback. That's help us grow, for sure.
so any questions from the audience? Okay. So yeah, thank you, Sushant. That was a superbly interesting and meticulous presentation, I would say. And I think
Thank
you
you.
have, yeah, and you have touched upon, I think, all the wide nuances of the industrial procurement, especially the field of MRO where you are venturing, that is maintenance, repair, and operation. You have covered indirect purchases. Your focus is in this class B and class C, which is indirect materials, I think.
Right,
You
right,
have
right.
brought in the notification of procurement. You have also clarified the what is the techno-commercial aspect of GST, warranty, and AMC part of you have also covered. And the most interesting part that was the buyer experience of on the vendor 1VP platform, where you have the RFQ generated instantly and the transparency of price, the faceless negotiation, tagging of products for repeat purchase, and order and shipping journey. What you have explained, so that was super. I think even after facing so much of hurdles and challenges in this field, because as I think who are part of this industry and this part of this process will totally agree that it is very cumbersome to, because as you have compared with GEM, they have the authority to tell the vendor base to follow the particular instructions and rules. But without that, if still you are persuading all the vendors to streamlining this Amazon experience and the instant purchase and instant payment, also it is beneficial for both the buyers as well as the sellers and vendors. So I think kudos to you for taking all these efforts and making a huge impact in the country on that that which country is also trying to have a three, as you told, a 3.75 trillion economy in
And
B2B
I'll add to
segment.
that, manufacturing is the next thing coming in India. So I think you're really bullish about it.
Yeah, that's what we all, I think India is in a bullish phase in all phases, including this manufacturing. And because we are competing with our neighbors, and we expect that all the companies base come to India. And I think this this
Yes.
platform will definitely will be helpful in that part also. So thank you, sir. That was a great presentation, and thank you,
Thank you.
Priyaranjan sir, for giving so much insights and taking us diving deep into this field to understand us more. So I
Thank
also
you,
thanks.
Priyanjan sir. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I also thanks all the audience to give 1 hour and more than that also to stay back with us. And I see a lot of audience here and though so much energy. So thanks all audience for this spending your time on this Sunday. Thank you all. We'll close this, conclude this session.